This is Cyberpunk 2077. We're here on PlayStation 5 taking a look at this small but very interesting update to the game. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So what is the big update here? This is the 1.61 update to the game. It didn't really necessarily crazily change things. There was a list of bugs and fixes, but the biggest thing that they adjusted with this one is the addition of FSR 2.1. So this is a resolution kind of upscaling technology. If you're not familiar with it, you might have heard of DLSS, which is NVIDIA's, kind of solution for basically making sure we get high frames, higher resolutions with less effort on the actual hardware. So with the FSR, which is the AMD equivalent, the super fidelity sort of resolution scaling technology, that's what we get on console because obviously we have AMD. So there we go. So what exactly are we getting here? Well, it's the same existing modes. They haven't actually changed what we have. We have a performance mode and we have a ray tracing mode. So, these modes are still the same, but they look a lot better. So on PS5, the ray tracing mode, 1440p, 30 FPS, it's shadows, so it's not like anything too special. I do think it does look, a lot better. I mean, we get like perfect shadows, which is pretty cool. It's a neat effect, but I think for me personally, I always suggest the performance mode, just because it feels a lot better and it looks really, really good on this particular game. So until we start seeing, and I would really love to see this if they are diving into actually changing up the visuals this much, still at this point, I would love to see reflections being some sort of mode, even if we have to dip the resolution quality down further. I'd love to kind of see that. So we're going back to performance, and like I was saying, there's no choice here. The FSR is just, it's applied. The 2.1 is just available. I think most people will just jump in and they won't notice a difference, if that makes sense. Like, you'll just be like, oh, it looks better. That's what people will think, right? Exactly. I mean, you would have no context if you weren't like aware of this sort of thing. But for me, I'm definitely noticing a huge bump up in regards to like the return on value for resolution quality. I am noticing a little bit more on the PlayStation side because it was targeting a little bit of a lower resolution inside because it's it's dynamic 1800p 60 fps at the performance mode. So the common was a little bit about 100p lower than the Series X equivalent. So basically the resolution scaling is going to be kicking in a little bit more. So what I notice when I take a look at the kind of FSR being applied, I still do think it definitely has some work in regards to visual fidelity, and I think that's like anywhere that it's applied. Honestly, it's still a work in progress. It isn't as old as DLSS, so it definitely still has more to go. So that's what I'm trying to get across, is that like this is definitely a lot sharper of an image, I think, in both modes, but you get things such as like slightly fuzzier sort of, and I don't know how much this shows up on YouTube. And again, this is same on the Series X side of things, like sort of reflections and or pools of water have like a bit more of a fuzz. There's a shimmering. I'm noticing the shimmering and the fuzz a little bit more on the PlayStation side of things. It might be more like areas I visited. It might just be this platform thing, but I think that's because it is compensating a little bit more. And again, I don't know how well that shows up on YouTube in comparison to like a TV, but it's something that to me is very, very noticeable in just even going down the road, seeing the side of the walls and stuff like that. And I believe that in this case, because I've definitely noticed that when I take a look at things with this applied, is that it's not a perfectly done sort of resolution type system. It definitely has work to go, and I'm very, very excited to see it kind of being applied more, because a lot of games down the road will just have this sort of thing, but for now it's every once in a while we get games that kind of support this sort of thing or have this sort of feature, and it's really, really cool. Like, this is definitely a way that we're going to get higher and higher resolutions with better and better performance without having to sacrifice the quality of our experience, and I think that's just absolutely fantastic. So I would say if you're coming back into you know, the game after not being here for a while, you are going to notice a better picture experience. I do think they need to make some further adjustments, but I am very, very excited that something this, you know, kind of old, actually they took the time to go back and still apply something that is, in my opinion, a little bit more complex than just doing, you know, bug fixes here or there and whatnot. I mean, obviously, we have the big expansion coming out next year that I'm very, very excited for. I can't wait to cover that and play it. I'm very, very excited for what that has to offer. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see this sort of thing being applied, because I do think it just genuinely will improve your experience in many, many exciting ways. And I hope most people are just kind of like looking at this and being like, yeah, it does look a lot better now. Because that's the biggest thing, is just, you know, a quick visual improvement upon, you know, something you've been enjoying, hopefully, or maybe jumping into. Now, I did do a more, I guess you would say, in-depth review of the game not too long ago on the PlayStation side of things, starting to cover the PlayStation side of Cyberpunk a bit more since I got access to it with the big, you know, PS5 next-gen version. And just to give you a quick details, I definitely think as of that next-gen version, and or even the last update or a couple updates, this is definitely worth diving into if you've been hesitant before. I think my other review kind of dives into the full game a little bit more for the 1.6 update. But if you've been hesitant, it's definitely at a really good place now. I think you can have a really good time with this game. It's got an expansive story, it's got lots of content, it's got some free DLC stuff, it's got a big expansion coming, you know, in the future, which I think is really, really exciting. I can't wait to play that personally. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I'm just really excited to be having excuses to come and continue to play Cyberpunk, as, you know, I didn't think we'd still be jumping into the world, or there'd be as much interest still in the world so many years on, but here we are taking a look at what the game has to offer. You make your character, you make some choices, you interact with this gorgeous, massive open world. The funny thing is, I've got the cross saves on, but like, basically, for whatever reason, my cross save, because I'm taking the Xbox cross save, and I'm like applying it here, and it's really, really quite outdated, so I don't know what's going on there, which is kind of funny. But I also have like a history of, like, my first character was on Stadia, and I ran through the game. Then I played a different character. You know, I did the male V, the role-playing thing the first time on Stadia. And then I got it on Xbox, so I did the female V. And then I got it on PlayStation, so I worked through like the prologue, and I did another male V. And then I transferred over my the female V I have from the Xbox version, so that I could have like a higher level character when I do these videos. It's very, very funny that I've gone, you know, kind of through it kind of like so many times, if that makes sense. Because I definitely love this game. I didn't expect to be like having this many excuses to sit here and keep playing it, which is really, really great for me. But seriously, it just, like, it really does look quite wonderful. I always call it the Cyberpunk, you know, world of my dreams, because it's just so interesting. Like, it's genuinely such a fascinating and technical thing. And I know, you know, there's always going to be like, how do you get up there from? I don't know if I can actually get up here from here. You know, I think there's always going to be bugs and stuff, because literally every time I go to do one of these videos, a crystal decanter? Sorry, every time I go to do one of these videos, I can't climb this? Wow, okay, anyways. There's always like some bugs that pop up. Like, I literally filmed this update on the Series X side of things the other day, and like, there was literally like a car that's my Porsche spawned in the middle of this like sort of street area, and I couldn't use it. And then my other car spawned and like exploded because it spawned inside of another car, and it's just like, I feel like I can't win showing this one off, but hopefully this is a smooth showcase. It really isn't as bad as the weird, funny, quirky moments that pop up occasionally. Like, it actually is pretty fun and engaging. It's got neat combat and stylistic weapons. And as you get better stuff and tools, it just honestly becomes, for me, more and more fun to play. As it's just kind of crazy as you like fly around here doing this stuff. I don't know, there's so many different like missions and activities. I'm constantly having an excuse to go in here and play stuff, whether that's doing streams or just diving in and fooling around in the game and the world. I don't know, I just find it really, really fun and intriguing, and I'm kind of glad that I'm seeing people. I think in general the opinion on this one is improving in a lot of ways, and I think that's really, really good. And I think it's really great that we're seeing, again, this like technology being applied, because I sort of assumed with the whole note of them kind of working on the future of the franchise or working on that expansion that we weren't going to see major overhauls in regards to the technology. And this kind of gives me a little bit more hope that maybe down the line we also see this updated long term, because there is going to be that big engine switch when they go forward. They're moving on to the whole, you know, Unreal and stuff. And I was kind of assuming that this game would get sort of lost in the crosshairs of that, you know, that adjustment, that change. But yeah, it's just nice that, hey, they went in and they did this thing that will hopefully provide you a better experience. At least I think visually it's looking better and playing better, you know, because the whole point of, again, of the AI upscaling is that you get higher resolutions without sacrificing your frame rate, and you get more stable frame rate. And they do it just by kind of manipulating how, you know, like from a kind of a software perspective, how your hardware, what your hardware is able to put out. That guy is looking snazzy.
Hey, Gary.
What, Gary?
What I'm looking at? Us cracks, concert announcement. This is not fucking happening.
Yeah, we literally, like, I did a whole stream with this dude and his quests and stuff, and that's kind of funny that we're now getting it here. But yeah, it's, you know, it's an RPG. You make choices. You go through the world. You interact with the crowds. You kind of do things, you know, the way you want them to, and it's just like, it's a very fulfilling, large-scale experience that I think, for me, has continued to be very, very entertaining, and just filled with like weird, quirky moments. It's so unique of a game. As going back to that point where I'm like the Cyberpunk sort of game of my dreams. This is the type of world I always kind of would loved or dreamed of being able to kind of experience in a game, if that makes sense, to take in. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be in an actual Cyberpunk society because it's so dystopian, but you know, that meld of technology and stuff is just so neat. And to see it realized here, and then to see it kind of have all those problems, have all this like negativity around it, where I'm just like, it's such a cool, like, you know, concept and everything. And then to see them continue to build on it, turn it around, and, you know, change, I think, the minds of a lot of people, I think that's just wonderful. So, you know, if you have been on the edge, this is once again me kind of going, give it a chance. You know, you can get like pretty good deals on it, and it does, you know, I think visually look pretty cool. I think it plays pretty well. I think it's a really neat sort of game. Oh, this is literally where our goal is? Okay. It's like the Lamborghini of the cars and stuff like that. And for those that have been experiencing the bugs, like I said, they are, you know, they keep on fixing things, they keep on adjusting things. I think the majority of your big problems will very likely have been fixed up in a previous update even, or definitely, you know, even in this update and whatnot. Because they do all these little minor quest fixes, or side gigs, or side activity fixes, and as I said, they keep giving you, like, free little bits of content. I think the big thing, though, is going to be that really exciting update to the game. Oh yeah, they added Road Trace, which is kind of funny if you like The Witcher, but, you know, to me, that the big exciting expansion pack on the horizon is just so tantalizing. I know we were supposed to get definitely more and a lot faster, this kind of stuff, but, you know, honestly, I hope it'll be worth the wait. I think it'll be worth the wait. Usually, you know, CD Projekt Red delivers on their expansions. You can go look at The Witcher, you can just be like, you know, that stuff was great and hype. I'm so eager to see what we get out of it and see what it is. But yeah, I definitely say I think this does look quite improved over last time when I went through it on PlayStation. But I am noticing, just again from my perspective of playing on this, that it is, I feel like the resolution scaling is a little bit more kicking in than I noticed on the other platform there. But you really, I guess you'd have to sit there and I'd have to like throw together some direct visual comparisons to be like, you know, what is the full scale of this effect? You know, how far is this actually pushing things? But you can sit back and you can just look at it and be like, I think the image is a lot clearer. I think the performance and stuff nice and smooth. I think it's kind of looking good. I think it's playing good. I think it's at a point where it's like jump in, enjoy the world and the rolling of Cyberpunk and see what it has to offer. Also noticing a lot more popping on stuff. It's a bit strange. I don't know if you've seen that, but as we're driving through and whatnot. I mean, it's not going to necessarily be perfect, right? I do wonder if someday we'll get like a big definitive edition release of this on like a future platform and really see what this thing can deliver. I wonder if that one will, you know, be well received and stuff. I'm just so intrigued about the future of this title. I mean, I'm sure some people have probably felt a bit let down at points, and I think that's, you know, that's fair for sure. But yeah, I really wonder long term what the thoughts on this one are going to be. What you know, how popular this one will be down the road, how much the world will sort of expand and change over time, and what else they're going to do to this. I don't know if they have necessarily plans for, you know, future free stuff. Like, I think they had so many DLC little things they dropped, mostly like costumes and whatnot, little small adjustments. But that's what they did with like The Witcher as well. So you're just kind of following that development. But I think the telltale sign of how far Cyberpunk will go will probably be, you know, seeing that big expansion, how that does. Seeing the long-term sales and this stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying diving back into this game. It's always great for me personally to have an excuse to dive in here and play it and see what it has to offer, because it's just, to me, it's so damn fun doing this. You know, I just like get such entertainment out of the combat and the style of it. Like, there's so many little like side stories and stuff, and you know, you'll probably notice I'm even skipping a lot of like the reading and the lore, mainly because I literally have done this before. But also, it's just like, if you do sit there and you do try to, you know, read about everything, there's like lots of complex, in-depth stories in this one. There are so many weird moments and individuals and messed up things, and some of the side quests that I think a lot of people ignore are actually really meaty, even meatier than some of the main story things, which I think is neat. And I don't think a lot of people really dive into them to the degree that they should, because there's a lot of good stuff here if you keep exploring and keep looking for things. What exactly am I? Oh. We've got to disconnect Bugbear. Bugbear! Welcome back. I love how the rooms look too. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Eurodollars, right on. Oh, I thought I already disconnected Bugbear. Ow. I don't appreciate that. Oh, there's lots of weapons and tools you can use too. If you didn't see the array of weapons. I basically just used the mono wire thing. It's pretty deadly. I got like a great katana and stuff too, but you know, different weapons for different tasks. I'm kind of just like really casually going through here, smoking everything in my way. This wire just like completely obliterates people, so not a big deal. Yeah, imagine like, you know, you've been stuck in this place for so long, and then it's just like, you know, someone just picking you up and throwing your body down on the ground, like they just don't care. Like, why am I so sore? I thought I was just lying down for this long. It must have been the long-term effects of, you know, just being there in the stasis and stuff, and you know how it goes.
Well done, my dear. I am pleased. As they say, we will be in touch. Contract closed.
Right on. Anyways, I think that's about good for our run of Cyberpunk for now. And as always, I can't wait to dive back into this wonderful world present additional gameplay and streams and stuff, and have a great time doing it.